Okay, so what you'll probably want to do at some point is you'll want to change the gear of what everyone will have. And so we have the Gearscript set up so that you only need to change a few lines of code to have it apply to everyone. So you don't need to go through each individual unit and set up their gear. So basically the way that works is that, so let's say we open up the player here. So this is the company commander. He's got his unique identifier here under name. He's got his description. Some further details around here that don't really matter. But basically the thing that matters is this line of code here for Gearscripts. So basically, actually sorry, it'd be more like this line of code. Yeah. So basically, this means that he has a platoon leader gear layout. So that's just plit lead. And then if we were to compare that with this one, this guy is this, in quotation marks, AAR, so Assistant Automatic Rifleman. So he gets all that stuff. It's basically just a rifleman that get extra ammo. Furthermore, we've got Grenadier, got some MMG assistants, and the MMG. Yeah, so pretty simple. Very easy to just go through and edit those if you want, but they're all just set up the way like RIFM normally has them. So if we want to go into the script itself and have a look at what that looks like, open this up, go to scripts, and here we have all the scripts that we use. So we go open up assigngear_nato.sqf with Notepad++. Don't use Notepad. We have a whole bunch of comments on its usage, so if you want to learn about it, you can pretty much just read all this and the agent explains it for you. And we have some variables, and here we have all the classes, so you can go through and see what you have available. So you got platoon lead, this tells you what it has. It's got your medic, your FAC, and you got your UAV operator, which we never use. We got a SECO, section team leader, AR, blah blah blah. Yeah, so it's all there. We also have some stuff that I wouldn't mind seeing used at some point. We've got like HMG and HMG assistant. So they've got M2s, which they carry around in the back. Pretty cool. Now there's these variables. These variables are important to know because these will help you make broad changes to every unit without really, messing around with them specifically. So let's say we want to give everyone scopes on their weapons. Currently, by default, they've currently only got like CQB optics or iron sights. So all we need to do is change scopes equals false to scopes equals true. And then you save that. And that basically means that every unit will now have a scope on their weapon. Pretty simple. Same goes for suppressors, 3GLs, night gear, and you can also make changes like the camo pattern. So see that default is US, but you can also change them to the CTRG, which is like a British camo pattern. So let's say you don't want to make everyone NATO, because NATO is a really boring faction. Let's say you want to make everyone French or something like that. So there is actually a script already set up for that. There's a script set up for pretty much all the mods we have. I think there's a few we're missing, but pretty much everything's there. So what we want to do is find the French gear script, which is assigngear_French.sqf. fr.sqf. And if you open that up, see that that's pretty much the same, except they just have different stuff. Now to change that for everyone in game, pretty simple. You just open someone up and you see where it says scripts/assigngear_nato.sqf. Just change the NATO to fr. That now references the French script. Simple. However, you probably won't want to do that for each individual unit. That's pretty tedious. So there is a quick way around that. I'll explain that very shortly. Okay, so basically, if you want to save a whole lot of time with Gearscripts, That can be done very easily, and you need Notepad++ for this. Now, first thing we want to do is we actually want to exit this game. This mission. Because if you make any changes to the mission.sqm and then you save it in game, you can break your mission. So it doesn't happen often. I've done it before and it's kind of annoying. So I just recommend as safety to just exit completely. So open up the mission.sqm. I'll just explain what the mission.sqm is. This basically contains all the information within the mission itself. So that's not things like scripts, that's like unit placement. So it's kind of important that you don't mess anything up here, but you don't really need to change much here except for this one thing. So if you go Control F, and if we were to go find and then assign gear underscore NATO.sqf, then we go find all in current document. Yeah, so if we were to do that, this brings up all this stuff, and it finds all references to this line of code. So to cut down on time and have all this changed at once, just go X that, and then Control F, and replace assign gear underscore NATO.sqf, and we want to do it with right, yeah, so we want to do that. So basically we're replacing this with this. We're going to replace all. And then we go exit out of that, save that, exit. We go back into the editor. We open up the mission again. Everything's the same, except everyone has the French Gearscript now. So that's just a very simple workaround. I recommend you use that. Okay, so let's say you're a little more advanced in this department, and you don't actually like the weapons that we're using or something like that. You want to make a change to the Gearscripts. That's pretty simple to do. You just got to Alt-Tab, and we find the assign gear defines underscore French, or whatever class you're using. So this contains all the specific class names that will be referenced by the original script to then put in the mission. So this is where all the specific gear is, essentially. So here we have the standard rifle that will be given to all rifleman class things, which is just the standard FAMAS at the moment. And we also have a GL version, which is a FAMAS with an M203 on it. You got a scoped version, so they get an M16A4 with a bipod. You got a carbine version of the FAMAS, and you got a DMR. And if you go further down, you can find what's given to ARs and stuff. If you keep going down, you'll find more references to more complex stuff. So it's like, you know, AT and things like that. To change this, all you need to do is find the class name for the rifle that you want and just replace that. That's all you need to do. Just be aware that any changes you make, you'll need to change them all across the board. So let's say you've changed a weapon, you also need to make sure that the magazines for that weapon are going to be compatible. So a FAMAS magazine won't necessarily fit into an AK if you give people an AK. So you need to make sure that's all consistent. So make sure you test that stuff when you change it. So there's two other things that you need to do with gear. That is set up the join in progress gear script and also the logistics system. So if we go init.sqf, open that with edit, Notepad++. Here we have under line 36, assign gear scripts NATO. So currently we're using French, so we want to change that to French. And what this does is, save that, what this does is it sets up these guys, who are the GIPs, the join in progress guys, so that when they hop into a game, they have this little option bar where they can select whether they want to be an AR or a rifleman or something like that. This is just to ensure that someone who has hopped in, possibly like accidentally disconnected or something like that, that they can choose the gear that they had originally, rather than having to find a free slot for it, which isn't ideal. The other thing we need to do is setting up the logistics system, so making sure that this stuff references the French gear as well. So they're not these guys aren't getting NATO stuff. So we open up the tutorial mission, then we go to scripts and go all the way down to the bottom here. We have crate picker _ supply crates.sqf. Open that up. All right, very simple. Change that to French under line 27. Very simple, very, very simple. Just save that. Oh, and you also want to make sure that your variables are all correct as well. So let's say you gave them scopes, you want to make sure that they're true as well. You need to make sure that just matches up with what you had in the original script. Just as a summary, all you need to do is make sure all the gear scripts are exactly the same for each company member. So everyone has the French gear script or the Russian gear script, whatever. You want to make sure that the JIP slots all are configured to the right gear script as well, so that they don't come in as like NATO when they should be French. And you want to be making sure that the logistics system is also available if you're actually using the logistics system. If you're not, don't worry about it, just delete it. So that's gear.